Hey, what's up? So, I'm about to smoke this very innocuous looking JD, which is very fucking strong. Let's see what's in there. I got two types of hash. One type very fucking strong. I got the whole dude doused in full spectrum THC concentrate, high oil on the inside, live resin, rolled in diamonds. Yeah, just say nuclear powered. It's actually kind of ironic. I managed to make more friends at my campus after my class is done, and I just have to scoot my boot over there to submit my last few assignments, and I've made friends with this group of like pretty cool like Iranian dudes. But as anyone who watches my channel will attest, I'm a pretty hardline pessimist, and that's not for lack of trying to get out of that predicament of a worldview, because it is a very catastrophic one. I tried to embrace absurdism. I still do. There's things that happen that are just so morbidly messed up, I can only really laugh at them. But in terms of, a quote-unquote pessimist community, I can't even really think of one, certainly not an anti-natalist community. Anti-natalism is often part and parcel with pessimism or misanthropy, and I would say I'm a misanthrope as well. I have to explain this to people so they don't get offended, but a misanthrope, to me, means that to me it means that I hate humanity as a whole, and how we become this like parasitic scourge on the planet who has just walled itself off from nature and is just siphoning whatever fucking we can with our big lofty machines that regardless of the price, regardless of the consequences for nature. But as far as like pessimists who I know of, let's see, Thomas Ligotti, obviously, his book Conspiracy Against the Human Race is really what helped me to flesh out my beliefs. And he actually goes into, with a lot more detail, in my opinion, the whole asymmetrical antinatalism thing. He doesn't call it asymmetrical antinatalism, and he even does quote David Benatar in some parts of the book. I can't remember what he says, but I'm pretty sure it is in the part where he's making one of several cases against procreation. Because for those of you who don't know, that's what antinatalism is. Oh, kids are selling lemonade. Let's see if I can get a change. Lemonade and cookies, eh? How much do you want for the lemonade? $1. Here's $1.25. How much is the sparkling water?
Everything's $1.
Everything's $1? Here's $1.25. A bracelet?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm good, buddy. I got plenty. Here, can I take this one here?
Okay.
Perfect, thanks. Keep up the good work, guys. Yeah, I used to have lemonade stands as a kid, man. Anyways, so funny. So ironic that I'm talking about my ethical aversion to procreation. Buying lemonade off of a bunch of little kids who look like brothers. So the pessimists I can think of: Thomas Ligotti, David Benatar, I mean, I'm pretty sure he's a pessimist. Like, reading the summary of his book sounds like a philosophical case for pessimism, which is really all you can make is philosophical case, even though I think it's a fairly pragmatic and objective view of reality. the grim reality of reality, the grit, the grime. Yep, we see all that shit. Matt Dillahunty, he says he's a pessimist. Slavoj Zizek, fucking love the werewolf, man. He's sometimes a little hard to listen to. Just constantly doing the like holding his tooth down, his tongue down the back of his teeth. But yeah, all people I just mentioned completely whooped the shit out of Jordan Peterson in a debate. So yeah, the Matt Dillahunty one is especially funny. But Matt Dillahunty made a video on asymmetrical antinatalism and why it's kind of stupid. And that's what kind of spurred me to want to make this, and also to want to make the case while really stoned, because I just think it's a silly case and it doesn't reflect well on antinatalism because it's not like a practical argument. It's just a philosophical argument. It goes something like this. So, and I've talked about the nature of suffering before and how it ties into, the drear and dread that we experience in existence. But, by Benatar's metric, and I don't know what metric he's using, I think you can only really go by conjecture when it comes to gauging this accurately, but he said there's more suffering in the world than there is, pleasure, fulfillment. And by essentially, rolling the dice with someone's life and pulling them out of blissful non-existence into this world, not his words, those are more Ligotti's words, you're doing ethical damage because they're now forced to suffer and survive. Because a lot of suffering, as I've stated before in my pessimism videos, it rears its head because we are animals and we have to, meet a very basic, I have to earn housing, shelter, food, nutrition, hopefully foster something that makes us feel passionate, that we can sublimate ourselves into, so we don't, because it's our overly acute conscious awareness of our suffering that makes it so bad, and also the fact that stuff like stress and anxiety doesn't have an outlet like it did when we were more animalistic species. And so he says, essentially you shouldn't have kids because they could suffer and their suffering would suck and it'd be selfish of you. And, I do kind of agree with that, but in a slightly different way, more kind of in how Ligotti phrased it, where it's like, no one asked to be pulled into this world. And I would say that argument, of pulling people out of blissful non-existence into existence where, you can live in love or you can, hurt and, experience depression, feel pain, rejection, not meeting the standard people want you to meet, all this stuff, that you have to deal with as a human being in today's day and age. Like, I think ethically, that's a very, very small part of why I'm an antinatalist. But like Matt Dillahunty, he debunked this fairly easily, because it's a philosophical argument. Like I said, there's barely a pessimism community, so I don't think I can say honestly that the antinatalist community is going to suffer because of this sort of, in my opinion, frivolous and very like presumptive position that it reminds me of something like Pascal's wager or like Schrodinger's cat. Like, these are things that are just like thought experiments proposed, especially the Pascal's wager, where it's like you might as well believe in God, because if you do and there is a God, then maybe you won't go to hell when you die. Like, it's one of those things that you can't prove or disprove. So it makes for not a very qualitative argument. Like, for me, the main reason that I'm an antinatalist is, as I said, sure, because I believe that, a lot of people just aren't suited for life, and, it's like to just allow yourself to crumble to that biological imperative to have a kid. Like, I watch seasonally because there's a lot of young couples around me, and procreating like crazy. And I, for the life of me, can't imagine why anyone would want to raise a kid in this climate. But, I mean, they are, and, my problem, it really is much more of a practical one. Like, there's, at this point in our species history, enough resources, enough technology, enough land for it all to go around, for everyone to get an equal slice of the pie. But, this is a very limited offer. Pretty soon, phosphates will be mined out of the soil, and, we're going to have issues, which I predict we have a dust bowl within the next 30 years. I think scientists have said this as well. Don't quote me on that, though, because I could be wrong. I believe I've read scientists talking about that. So it's mostly a matter of the world already being overpopulated and it being unnecessary to have a fucking litter of kids. And I also think some people overestimate their ability as a parent. Especially if they've never been around kids for a very long time. Like, I'm one of those people who, I've got nothing against kids, and, biologically, I think that, I'm programmed to see them, like puppies or kittens or whatever, and that they're innocent. They can't, they don't have full autonomy. Autonomy is kind of considered an illusion in pessimism, a pareidolia of sorts, this means of our brain lashing together these attributes to create this cookie cutter version of a person we like to call me, or I, when it's really just an amalgamation of sensory input, cognitive programming, evolutionary programming, all this stuff. But in any case, there's a very interesting argument that, and just to summarize, the main reason I'm an antinatalist is because I just think that at the rate the population is ballooning, we won't have enough resources to go around. And we will, like a parasite, an alien parasite, fucking leech this planet till it's just dry. I'm surprised nature hasn't just done the, oh, well, they're getting overpopulated, let's set off some super volcanoes thing. I think most people, they like to see kids, and this, like, I consider myself one of those people, as, just innocent. They don't know what sex is, they don't know what violence is. Like, I remember seeing 9/11 footage when I was 6 on TV, and I can tell the difference between that and like a scene from an action movie. I just knew there was something heavy about this. I just didn't know quite what the implications really were. So, like, again, it's just like with being a misanthrope, it's not an individual bias. It's this would be better for us as a species if we were to, like, at least cut down a lot on our rates of procreation. Like, when I was a kid, and you could say that this primed me to have a bias, which if it did, so be it. I don't think it's a bad bias to have. But like, when I asked my parents as a kid, and one of my many whimsies, which I'm glad I didn't fucking pull the trigger on and, force my parents to give me a brother or sister, that I didn't force my parents to get me a small little yappy dog that I wanted for like 2 seconds, and then was like, nope, these things are annoying as fuck. Like, when I asked them, well, why didn't you have another kid? Give me a brother, give me a sister. They say, well, here's the thing. So there's 2 of us, and if we have one of you, then we die, and that's one person less on the planet. So, you see, there's a lot of people on the planet, there's a lot of stuff that needs to go around. Oh, I got that Genesis song going through my head now. There's not much left to go around. Can't you see this is a land of confusion? Yeah, fucking, that was like the one Phil Collins Genesis song I actually like. But, society could collapse at any moment. I think it's probably closer than it ever has been to, like, full-on collapse. And it wouldn't take much. I mean, think about that South Park episode where the internet just stops working and the world goes crazy. Like, could you imagine that? Like, that's actually, despite it being like haha funny satire, like, aren't we a silly species? That could be like really like the last nail. That could be what makes us go crazy and start killing each other, like, because we don't have anything else to occupy all that time we're occupying on the internet. We don't have those things we've adapted and programmed ourselves, or being programmed to work with and rely on heavily, for a variety of reasons, be it practical or just be it passionate, be it just a way of recreation or learning. We really put a lot of stock in the internet being there tomorrow. Yeah, the problem with smoking fucking all these concentrates of hash is it gets so rezzed up at the end. And I just refuse to put filters in my joints because I don't like that they take the taste out of the joint. You only kind of taste the filter, I find. Fuck, I think I put too much honey oil in it. It's like falling apart on me. Or not honey oil, sorry, the full spectrum THC, whatever the fuck. Don't go on me, damn it. But yeah, I mean, like, when I search for antinatalism on YouTube, it's going fucking sorry. I usually get an array of videos about David Benatar's asymmetrical antinatalism, and I just think it makes the argument look bad. For that to be the most popular in terms of like how often it's acknowledged online, from what I can tell anyways, like, it just makes antinatalists look bad, and like, it's already